One of the first questions that people ask me when they know I'm a photographer is not, what do you photograph? It's not, where have you traveled, or tell me some travel stories. The question that I always get is, what camera do you use? And that question always surprises me, and I always think in the back of my head, why does it matter what camera I'm using? A camera just doesn't make a photographer. And I never do ask. Maybe one day I'll ask, well, why do you want to know? But I never do. So what I'm going to do today is, I've got my camera bag here, and we're going to open it up, and I'll show you what's in my camera bag. Now keep in mind that I have mentioned to you a couple of times through the various lessons that you should try to keep things as simple as possible. And you're going to see that in this bag. I follow what I preach, and I really do keep things very simple. Now, on any given day, there could be something different in my camera bag. And this is what's in here from the last time I was out. I don't really remember, so we're going to see together what's in here. I'm a gadget guy, and I love things with buttons, whether they're cameras or anything else. And that said, I have a lot of cameras. I have a keen interest in film photography, so I have a lot of film cameras, from 35 millimeter to panoramic cameras to medium format to even large format cameras, and which I love. I love film still, and in my honest opinion, seeing the film and digital side by side, film still wins. And I've got a Hasselblad medium format camera, which is digital, 50 megapixel, I think. And it does take incredible photographs, and I can't tell you the detail that you can see when you zoom in when I get them on the computer. But when I compare that 50 megapixel medium format digital file to a film negative, the film negative is better. Very surprising. So let's have a look in here. And first of all, camera bag, and I'm not going to give you a camera bag review or even try to sell you one. Find one that works for you and is convenient for you. What I really love and I look for in any camera bag is, this is the back, and is for the zip and the opening to be on the back. So when this camera bag is on my back, the opening is here. So if you're in an area or you're in a city that is known for theft or pickpocketing, and they're out there, believe me, I know, they can't get in the bag when it's on your back. Just a tip there. So that said, I do keep everything very simple. Obviously, there's going to be a camera in here. What I don't carry with me anywhere when I travel is a laptop. I have enough to carry, and I don't travel to sit and tip-tap on a computer. That's not to say I don't do it with my phone, because I do, but nonetheless. In various sections. You know, I'll carry my phone, or in this case, it is an iPod. And the reason that I do this is because sometimes I just want to take some snaps, just snapshots for social media purposes. I don't want to be using my super duper camera for social media. I mean, that makes no sense because then I have to go to resize it. And then my social media images are already on a device that can be sent off and posted. So, iPod. I mentioned to you in another lesson how I had forgotten my battery once when I was in Bali. Well, I've forgotten my battery more than once, I can tell you. But what I normally will do is have extra batteries that are charged. That way, if I do run low or the battery runs out while I'm taking photos, I know that there's a backup in the bag, and there's no worry there whatsoever. Also of note, you know, before I go out, if something is planned, and I know that tomorrow I'm going to go shoot XYZ in a certain place, and I know what I'm going to be photographing, I typically will pack everything that I need or think that I will need the night before. So when I'm ready to go, all I have to do is grab the bag and out the door I go. I'm not scrambling right before. What I find with my own feeble brain is I forget. You know, I'm running around and I don't always remember at the last minute. So it's best that I do it the night before so I can think it through. I'll always have a small sort of cloth. This one has dog on it. And this is for me to be able to clean the lens of my camera, the camera lens. Because yes, smudges or dust or whatever can get on the lens. And so you want something very soft to be able to clean that. Another thing that I will have with me is an empty little bag or satchel. And what I will do is if I finish with a SD card, CF card, memory card that's in your camera, the ones when they are full, I'll put it in this empty one so I know what is used and what is not used. It's all just part of all the organization that's up in my brain. It's all those years of planning and coordinating events, corporate events. I had to be so organized, so that's where all that comes from. So in this bag also, I will have this little, they call this rocket blaster, I think. I forget what it's called, but you can find this in any camera department or any camera store, and basically you squeeze this black part and air will come out, and it is great to get dust off the lens of your camera. So you just have your camera, and then you do that to get the dust off. Additionally, it never fails that dust sometimes can get in on the inside, and this can be used to help clean out your camera. You never want to put this inside the camera. You don't want to touch the sensor or the mirror, for that matter. That said, talking about the camera, I've got, the Canon here, and obviously, so I can take the photos, right? And if I have a change of lens, I'll only carry one extra lens. In this case, I've got this that is pretty much a super duper big lens, not massive, but it allows me to zoom in so I can see some scenes and or people a lot closer, right? I really do love this lens. I think it's great, but I don't carry, I have a lot of lenses, and these are actually the only two Canon lenses I have. Otherwise I use the Zeiss lenses that are quite amazing. And I find that if I put in too many things into the camera bag, like let's say I put in 5 lenses, well, chances are I'm either going to use one all the way through, or maybe change and use 2. I'll never use all 5. If I'm out photographing some people, some place, etc., I'll spend all my time thinking, oh my gosh, what lens am I going to use, rather than using them. So I really do try to keep it simple. Now, camera aside, one last thing is I will have extra memory cards, and I'll have a lot of them, and you can just see just here I carry a lot because I take a lot of photos, but I also take a lot of video, which eats up a lot of space on these cards. So I always am prepared. I'll never run out of that sort of thing when I'm out taking photos for a project. In the last couple of years, and if you visit my website, you'll see this right away, or even YouTube channel, I've really gotten into video. And with the development of the little GoPro, which has just changed so many things, hasn't it? It's an amazing little thing. I can't say that it takes the best video in the world, because it doesn't, especially in low light. But it's very convenient, it's very easy to use, and they have all of these great attachments that you can put your GoPro on these little extension things. They have almost everything. If you know about GoPro, I'm preaching to the choir, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But I'll use the GoPro, and actually I have a few, and I'll set them up in various spots when I am working on a project, and later edit them into some sort of compilation. And I also have, I told you I was a gadget person, I also have this great little Sony video camera, which has a multi-directional speaker. So if I want to interview someone, this is really great for that. But it also takes great video in all sorts of situations. And so there you have it. Not a whole lot. I always used to say that I used to work out a lot, and it's waned over the years where I don't work out as much. But I think to myself, I'm carrying this camera bag, and sometimes it's 30, 35, 40 pounds on my back, and I'm walking and I'm carrying this, and I'm thinking, well, I'm getting this great workout, and so why go to the gym? I'm not sure that the logic works, but I'm going to go with that right now. So there you have it, what is in my camera bag. And I'm not suggesting that you need any of these things that I have in mine. These are just things that I use, and they all help me to achieve whatever goal that I have when I'm out with my camera.